The Miami Heat, who had lost 4 straight games. You know who can fix that? A game against the Sacramento Kings. The Heat got the win against the Kings. They're again on top of the Eastern Conference. Can they stay there, Mr. Rose?
First, I want to say just a line about the Kings. I love De'Aaron Fox, but it's almost impossible to be as trash as they've been for so very long. With that being said, yes, I believe so. And the turbulence that you saw boil over in the huddle between the Miami Heat, for the rest of the world, it was like, oh my goodness, we're going to pay attention to the Heat today, even though they're the #1 seed in the East. It's just another day at the office for them. And if you notice, all of a sudden, Jimmy's back focused, 27 points. Look at Bam, 22 and 15. You need your best players leading the way. Tyler Hero, legitimate candidate, 6th man of the year. 20 points. He's been initiating offense and consistent all season. And so when you look at the depth of the Miami Heat and how they've basically been the team in pole position for most of the run during the Eastern Conference race this year, I do believe they'll have what it takes to maintain the #1 spot when it's all said and done.
And you look at those other 3 teams, 2 through 4, just 1 game behind the Heat. And one of those teams was in action yesterday with a chance to take the top spot from the Heat. The Boston Celtics could not do it because they ran into Pascal Siakam. Siakam has been locked in lately for the Raptors. He got them the win against the Celtics, who are now still 1 game behind the Heat.
So the thing I wanted to profile about Pascal Siakam is he's a prototypical front court player in the East Coast as it relates to that conference. And here's what I mean. Like, he's not the big, like, Giannis, Embiid, or Bam. He's not the perimeter dynamo type scorer like a Jason Tatum. Or he's not, or KD, but he's not like an electric ball handling PG like a Kyrie. And so what ends up happening, players like Julius Randle last year, who was basically all NBA and most improved player, can average 24 points in that conference. Pascal got off to a slow start this year. Fred VanVleet was their all-star. Now all of a sudden he's found his game as a player that's won a championship with that team, and now his consistency is able to drive them in games where you're going against Boston and they don't have Brown, Tatum, or Williams, or Horford for that matter. And so the Toronto Raptors, while we're talking about the top of the East, it's going to be interesting to see who draws them at the bottom of the conference.
Of course, as they are now getting themselves out of a play-in situation, trying to get the 6th seed, which would match them up nicely in the first round in the playoffs. But Jalen, with the injury news of Robert Williams, Time Lord is going to spend some time on the bench, not available for the Celtics, likely through the playoffs. Does that kill their chances of winning the Eastern Conference?
It does, and I always felt like to take that leap would be a long shot based on just this team outplaying expectations, in particular since January 1st to so many people. Not mine. I believed in what I felt like this team could accomplish. But here's a point that I want to make about Boston and their youth and ascension that is going to mirror what I say about Memphis in a lot of ways. Not many times, Jacoby, do you have a starting 5 where at least 3 of those guys want to be the best defenders at their position. Just think about that for a second. When you ask Marcus Smart, Robert Williams, and Jaylen Brown, they'll tell you we want to be the best defensive players at our position, definitely in the league. The same thing for the Killer Bees, Bane, Brooks, and Triple J for Memphis. And when you have a team like that and you lose one of those guys, Robert Williams is the only guy in the NBA that's holding opponents to 40% or below 40% free field goal percentage when he's guarding them. So to not have him in the lineup as the season progresses, I'm glad they got a chance to meet their apex and hit the #1 spot before he got injured, so we know what to expect from this team, but they can't win the Eastern Conference if he's not healthy.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.